is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? I don't know about y'all, but I'm still head bopping from that intro music. Ham with the dirty stash. The people wanted the stash. He's got the stash rocking. NFL is back. My Packers play tonight, but hey, there's still MLB. There's still 12 games tonight. There's still money to be made, including some more ticket chasing for the big boy. The Christmas morning, Sunday morning, full NFL slate. We got the real MLB grinders in here. Michael Stowell, Warren Tyler, Devin Davis says, just finalized my showdown lineups. Let's ship MLB tonight too. Hamwich, I don't know about you, but nothing better than a nice Friday night double shipper MLB NFL action. Doesn't happen too often. We get some NFL games, especially my hometown Pack, in a nice little Paulo, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce the last word of that city over there in Brazil, but little international football action going on tonight. Double shipper sounds good to me. I don't know about you. What's going on, man? Happy Friday. How was your NFL night? One, as you saw by the intro video, the nation smashed over here. And we are not worthy. Threw my little core in the little Discord, and guess who was up top? Little Xavier Worthy action. Didn't get all the way home, but hey, I'll take a nice little second place finish. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, happy Friday, my Pogen, DGen Stoner, man. I got the stash back for him. He's nowhere to be found in the chat. Hopefully he joins soon. But Nate, you were rocking and rolling last night. Yeah, your teams were dynamite. I mean, I think you 50x or something crazy. So hats off to you. Hats off to there he is. There's my guy, Pogen, DGen Stoner. He's back just for you, my guy. And so, yeah, looking forward to tonight. Palo Alto, Sao Paulo, San Antonio. It don't matter. We got football tonight, baby. Can't wait for that. Should be another great game. I mean, that ending, obviously, no better ending than that. Should be another one. We got these MLB. Hey, I did better in the MLB streets last night. I got sixth in the FanDuel lotto, so I was happy about that. Had two teams in there, actually. So it was a good night for me in the MLB streets. You and I are still grinding over here, giving it to the people all the way through the end of the month, which is the end of the regular season. So, yeah, but let's talk some bases tonight. Pitching is absolutely loaded.
Pitching is absolutely loaded. Loaded at the top range. Obviously not the bottom range isn't great, but there is a couple of guys we can probably pull out here. But for me, it's pretty much a spend-up pitcher night for myself. And then offense-wise, there's probably 12 teams that you can stack here tonight viably. Some of them are expensive. It's going to be hard to spend up at pitching and get those bats. But 12-game slate, ownership's not too much of a focus. Enough quality arms that are going to spread out ownership. Same thing on the bats side. Enough bats are going to spread out ownership. And we're definitely going to talk about those Dodgers, which are very, very, very hurtful to me earlier this week, man. Stone nut spot, right? Gave you a gold kick right in the nuts where the sun don't shine because, man, they got their asses kicked. But let's jump in. Let's talk pitching here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and add the screen share here. Do a little behind-the-scenes work here. Let's do it. Bang. Should see it up there. We should see the shiptimizer on the screen. We're going to talk pitching. We're going to talk 8K and above here. You got Kevin Gausman against those Atlanta Braves going here. Brandon Pfaadt, who's been absolutely incredible, gets a tough matchup overall against Houston. Down at the bottom, Nick Pivetta, talk to me. Very hard to ignore there. Gets the matchup against that woeful Chicago White Sox team that is going for a record-setting MLB worst record in the history of baseball. We'll touch on that. Any Bryce Miller. And then up at the top tier, here's the loader range we talked about, right? 9K and above. You got Bryce Miller, which I don't love a ton, but Cole Reagans, I think, is an interesting play in a tough matchup. Framber Valdez in an interesting, tough matchup. Both of those guys are going to be much lower owned than the three above them. Michael King, probably my favorite SP on the slate, gets that matchup against the Giants, which I've been targeting, absolutely printing money. Any starting pitcher against that Giants squad there, especially a quality one here. So Skubal, Wheeler, King is kind of the focal point of this top range alongside Pivetta. Those are the four that are going to get ownership here, as you can see by our projected ownership column over here. But Hamwich, where are you going? Any pivots? And then dive into any of these lower owned guys, like I said, at the top tier range. It is a loader range, so feel free to spend some time here.
Yeah, we just going to 8K. We just doing the whole shebang.
Yeah, 8K and above.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Skubal against these A's, I think, is obviously squarely in play. Gets this A's team that has been, I would say, up and down this season. Been been decent over the last month. Lefties don't have much power versus left-handed pitching, and Scooble's just in a class of his own. So Scooble would be up there. I mean, anytime I can get Zach Wheeler, I know what I'm getting. Taking on these flat fish too in Miami, so gets a ballpark upgrade. We know he's going to go 90+ pitches. We know he's going to go deep. They are heavily favored, so in line for the win, in line for the quality start on FanDuel. So I would have him up there. You mentioned Michael King as well. This Giants team striking out about a 30% clip over the last 15 days versus righties. So all those guys, you got Framber, who I'm not going to dive deep into. Cole, who I'm not going to dive deep into. Who I do want to talk about is going to be your boy that you just talked about, Nick Pivetta, the flamethrower. Only $8,600 gets this nut matchup. Really, I mean, anytime any pitcher that is against the White Sox, I'm always going to have some interest in. Then you couple in the fact that you have Pivetta, who's such a strikeout type pitcher against this feeble White Sox team. I didn't see it, but I know Robert, and he hadn't had a great season anyway, but he left the game the other night early. Looks like he's back in the lineup today. But I like Robert as my favorite pitcher up in this range. I just like the discount off of Scooble. I mean, Scooble in a great matchup as well, but I'm going to take the discount, the $1,600 discount. Give me some Nick Pivetta up there with the likes of Scooble and Wheeler would be my top three up in this range.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I tend to agree. I love the discount on Pivetta. Pivetta is going to be chalk. He's good chalk for a reason, but I just like the 8,600. I like expensive bats we're going to talk about here. I think he's an excellent play. I do like Michael King quite a bit. Looking at this Giants team, man, on the road this season, 27% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. King's been elite at home, over 33% strikeout rate at home. I love the Padres offense. It is very favorable hitting conditions here tonight in San Diego. We're going to talk about that once we get to the Padres stacks, one of my favorite teams to stack up here tonight. But in order to have favorable hitting conditions, you got to put the bat on the baseball, and the Giants struggled to do that. I like King a lot. He's my favorite above 9K. Is going to be Michael King. I think he's the lowest owned as well. Scooble, I think, is a very interesting play, but as the most expensive guy on the slate, and Ham, you noticed that I've talked about it a bunch in the Discord. I've talked about it a bunch in my slate plan, including today. This Oakland team's hitting the ball right now. Brent Rooker's absolutely on fire right now. He's a certified walking flamethrower. And this overall A's team just does not strike out, man, against left-handed pitching at home. A 22% strikeout rate, which is below league average in terms of overall strikeouts. I get it. Scooball's got elite stuff. He's been incredible all season long. He's got over a 31% strikeout rate on the road this season. It's a pitcher's ballpark. I get it. But, I mean, this guy's going to be 35 to anywhere from 35 to 50% owned on a 12-game slate against a team that just doesn't K a ton. Also hitting the baseball pretty well right now. I think I'm going to be a little bit underweight. I do think he's an interesting play in large field stuff because you have to sacrifice bats to get to him in one of these other top tier pitchers. But I'm going to be under on him. Zach Wheeler gets a great matchup, right, against these Miami Fish. It's a Friday night. That means fish fry here in Wisconsin. It's another fish fry out there in Miami when Zach Wheeler's coming to town. I think he's an elite option. I like him better than Scooball. So, for me, ranking this top tier, it's going to be Pivetta number 1 with the discount, Michael King 2, Wheeler 3, Scooball 4, and then Valdez and Cole Ragans are your 2 pivots. I think Cole Ragans would be my preferred option. I just don't want to pick on Arizona right now. They're certified walking flamethrowers as well. So give me in this top tier, which I really am going to try and build all my teams throughout this tier. It's going to be Pivetta number 1, like I said. I'll go King 2, Wheeler 3, Scooball 4, and then Cole Ragans will be 5 is kind of for me in the range. I don't want to deal with Brandon Pfaadt, who's been good. I just don't want to attack this Houston team. They just don't K. They don't strike out here. Max Fried, not gonna play him against the Blue Jays well, even though he ranks pretty well in our metrics over here. No Bryce Miller, nothing else. So just those 5 guys for me in the top tier. Ham, let's jump down below. I believe Quintana, right, is at the top of the range. It was supposed to be Sean Manaea, I believe, but Quintana is now going to start. Correct me if that's wrong, anybody in the chat, but that's what I'm seeing. It was going to be Sean Manaea, which obviously was going to be a great option here on the slate. Now Quintana, sub 8K, gets thrown in this matchup against these Reds, which can strike out in droves. But, man, looking at this confirmed lineup, these Reds, man, have just do not have strikeout ability against left-handed. Is it Manaea now? Do we have that mixed up? Was it going to be Quintana and it's Manaea? I didn't see that. I'm just looking at our confirmed stuff over here on the Stone, and we got Sean Manaea in there. So I guess I'll throw it over to you, man. Talk on Sean Manaea. He's 8,200. Do you have interest in him, I guess, before we jump below that? Talk to the people. You're on mute.
Gosh, this shows off to a resounding start. But, I mean, you look at his game log, last 3 games, he's been pitching lights out. And yeah, like you said, I don't believe Cincinnati. Let me just double check. They're not world beaters against lefties to begin with. 1 home run in their last – how many last at-bats is that? I just clicked off. I mean, they don't have a lot of power, right? Over their last 115 at-bats versus lefties, they've hit 1 home run, only striking out around 21%. So they're not the worst.
Sean Manaea is in there now. I just refreshed.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, he's certainly in play. I don't like his strikeout upside. I would say he's in play. I would still have Pivetta over him. I would try to find that $400. And he's kind of sandwiched in between, obviously Peafod and Gausman, which I don't think many people are going to play one of those just because of the offenses that they're facing as well. So I don't think he's the worst play, but I would try to get up to Pivetta if I could for just $400 more.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Looking at this confirmed lineup for the Reds, I mean, a 17% strikeout rate on the road against left-handed pitching. Sean Manaea has been good, but we're seeing him pretty high owned right there. I would just rather middle that ownership and go at a similar price point to Pivetta in a much better matchup. So that's kind of my take on Manaea there. Sorry for that confusion. I've been doing all over the board, right, with NFL and everything going on. That I missed that. I thought Manaea was going, but then that threw me off there. So that breaks down the 8K range. Appreciate you doing that. Let's jump below 8K. There's not much down here. I'm going to throw out 2 guys. Fetty Wap here. Eric Fetty gets the matchup against these these Seattle Mariners who strike out a ton. Matthew Boyd as a pivot in this range, but not only that, a double-edged kind of leverage play against the chalkier Dodgers who are scuffling right now. Matthew Boyd, we know the upside that he can have. He's just 7,100. I don't love it, but talk if you have any interest in him. And then Mitch Spence, matchup against the Tigers in that pitcher's ballpark on the other side of Skubal, should get up for that matchup to pitch. Those are realistically the only 3 guys that I would even consider. And realistically, it's just Mitch Spence for me down here, but maybe you see something else below 8K down here that you can get on.
Yeah, I think those guys that you alluded to are all great, all great options. But for me down here, it's going to be Dean Kramer. I mean, Dean Kramer's $6,500 has been pretty bad this season. Had a very bad start his last start, but when we get to face this Rangers team, it's tough for righties to hit bombs in Camden Yards. I think he's got a lot of upside. At only $6,500, you talked about want to play some of these bats. I don't know if he's going to come with much of any ownership. I do like him a little bit better than Boyd just based off the matchup that he has. Fetty is certainly in play as a ground ball pitcher as well, so that's not terrible. But for me personally, it's $6,500. The dean of the race tonight is going to be Dean Kramer. I like him at $6,500.
Yeah, no, that's a good call out there. Like I said, I don't mind Mitch Spence. Mitch Spence has been decent at home. These Tigers strike out a decent amount against right-handed pitching. I think he also gets up to go up against Skubal, right? A very quality pitcher, was in the argument there for Cy Young this year. So I like Mitch Spence. I like your talk on Dean Kramer because this Tampa Bay squad just strikes out a ton, especially against right-handed pitching. Over 27% strikeout rate on the road this season there. Decent hitting weather in Baltimore compared to a lot of the areas on the slate, but you alluded to it, right? The fences moved back there, etc. I think he's interesting. I also like the Orioles offense. So he should have run support behind him, which is boost too. Anytime you can get those 4 bonus points on DraftKings for a win, especially at a value pitcher, helps a lot, right? So I like Kramer. I like Mitch Spence. And then Fetty Wap would be the other guy, just targeting those strikeouts of that Seattle Mariners team. They just strike out a ton, 27% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching here. And yeah, I mean, Mariners implied to score under 4 runs. They are the game's basically a pick 'em, right? -105, -115. If he can pick up the win, I think he's interesting. Has about a 23% strikeout rate at home. So I think those 3 guys are the only guys I realistically want to go to down in the lower tier. Throw it back to you. Rank your top, I'll say 5 pitchers on the slate, all salaries including, before we jump and go game by game.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Fetty Wap, pour one out for my guy, Rich Homie Quan. RIP to Rich Homie Quan. Man, hate to see him go, but there he is. Big number 1 for me. I'm still gonna have Scooble 1. I'm gonna go Pavetta 2, Wheeler 3. I would say Michael King 4, and then I really like Dean Kramer 5 down there, but kind of be the cheapie that I have. But I think Scooble and Pavetta are going to lead the slate today. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I'm going to go Pavetta 1, Michael King 2. I'll go Scooble 3, Wheeler 4, and then I will go my cheapie as Mitch Spence. So that's where I'm going on the slate. That's my top 5. Let me jump over here and let me get our stone, the Rosetta Stone, the absolute stone nuts here. Share this tab. We should be looking at the stone there on the screen. You see, let's talk game by game here. We're going to start with a pretty solid game on offense on one side here. On the Orioles side, a lot of green. Usually green means go. Disregard the strikeout. This is very inflamed, obviously, because of Nick Matone in this lineup. Stone minimum 2K. Nick Matone, talk to me. Any Orioles interest here against Shane Baz? I don't think any Tampa Bay Rays interest for you against Dean Kramer, as he's one of your favorite cheapies on the slate. But any Orioles interest for you on the slate?
Yeah, and I just saw where Kyle Tucker just got activated off the IL. It'd be interesting to see if he's in that lineup tonight when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, I think these Orioles are in play. They laid an egg the last game out against the White Sox after just pounding them into submission. But I think you gotta like the big boys up front: Gunnar, Adley, O'Hearn, Santander, Cowser, people like that. I don't mind them. I don't think they're a full stack. I think it's more of a mini. And then on the flip side, I mean, if you're going to get to Kramer, I think it's going to be via the long ball from a lefty. So Brandon Lau is always in play, in my opinion. So I don't mind Brandon Lau as a one-off. And then it would be Orioles minis only for me tonight.
Yeah, I will say I do like an Orioles full stack. Lefties, I mean, just looking at Shane Baz's numbers, the strikeout stuff hasn't come back to what we've seen in the past, especially against lefties. Looking at an 18.5% strikeout rate, over a 13% barrel rate, or a walk rate, to lefties. And the Orioles have some of the best left-handed hitters in baseball, as you can see. Majority of this lineup is all lefties besides switch hitters, right? 7 or 8 of the 9 hitters are all from lefties or switch hitters. Gives up below a 40% ground ball rate as well, and a hard barrel rate, almost double digits in terms of barrel rate. So sign me up for some of these Orioles lefties here. I think this Orioles squad can get the job done. Really like Ryan O'Hearn, really like Santander, really like Seti Mullins. His price has come up there. But yeah, lefties for me and the Orioles full stack. One of my top 3 stacks on the slate. Really like this Baltimore squad here tonight. And then on the Rays, you look at the guys in the green. Brandon Lau would be my favorite. I agree with you there. Jump to the next game here. Davis Martin. This is not Mark Martin. This White Sox team has a lot of race car drivers, right? Kyle Busch. I mean, freaking whatever you want to call it. Davis Martin. Bunch of NASCAR knockoffs over there on this White Sox team. Heading into Fenway to face this Red Sox team who absolutely just murders right-handed pitching at home. As you can see by the numbers, a team ISO over 200, which is crazy. They do strike out a little bit. Obviously, it's heavily inflated by Tyler O'Neill, certified lefty masher. Can still hit right-handed pitching for power. But look at these lefties, man. A tail of one lefty squad in the Orioles to another tail of the lefty squad in the Red Sox. I love both of these. 2 of my favorite offenses, both top 3. I love this Red Sox team. They are expensive. But the back half of this lineup, right, the Valdez's of the world, the Rafaelas of the world, Yoshida's. You can save some Weiler Abreu ever since you mentioned his name about a month and a half, 2 months ago. He's been a certified step-up. Talk to me. Any Red Sox interest for you? I like the squad quite a bit. Heavy favorites here at home against this terrible Davis Martin character and a terrible bullpen behind him.
Yeah, agree. Now I got the Red Sox. I'm trying something this weekend too, Nades. I'm going to bet the Red Sox minus 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. All 3 games in this series. We'll see what happens come Monday. So hopefully I have some green in my pocket. But this White Sox team, I watched some of that Orioles game. I think it was the night they lost 8-0, and Maury Povich was over there just mowing them down left and right. They're just not very good. I do like Grady Sizemore, though. I'm a big fan of his. But this team just not very good. And then you got Devers batting second, which I love. He's been batting cleanup most of the year. Duran's going to smash Devers. I think they're the most popular offense tonight. I think Pavetta's the most popular pitcher tonight. I think it is a night to forget for the White Sox, which I think 108 nights have been nights to remember this season. I mean, you just look at that lineup. I mean, Jake Amaya, Dominic Fletcher, London Fletcher, Sammy Sosa. I mean, Corey Lee. Who are these guys? They're terrible. Nick Pivetta should have his way. The Red Sox roll tonight.
I will say in terms of ownership doesn't matter on the bat side. It's all going to spread out. And this Red Sox team is expensive enough where people want to spend out for the Zach Wheelers of the world, the Michael Kings of the world, the Screwballs of the world. That I don't think ownership matters too much here. So ownership in terms of bats, it's kind of a unique slate. Anytime you have 10, 12 games, ownership does spread out anyway, especially with no Coors Field. So like you alluded to, I love these Red Sox, all these guys, all the lefties, mainly add in a Connor Wong, add in a Rafaela in the stacks. But yeah, lefties for sure for me. Tyler O'Neill would be the one that I'm least interested in just at his price in this matchup. But again, I expect them to get that White Sox bullpen quickly there. So love the Red Sox here tonight. Let's jump to the next game here. Sean Manaea on the hill, Jacob Junis on the hill for the Reds. This Mets team is an interesting spot here tonight. These Mets have been known to go off in bunches. My boy Mark Vientos has been my highlight of this season. I was on him before anybody else in the country was on this boy. I was shouting Mark Vientos from the top of the freaking mountains here. And Hamwich followed suit and said, anytime, play Mark Vientos here. It's a good spot. I like these Mets. These Mets are an interesting stack here tonight. Another good spot at home against this Red squad. And then on the other end, you see the Reds just don't strike out. They don't hit home runs. I want home runs in DFS. No Reds interest for me against Sean Manaea, but sign me up for some of these Mets.
Yeah, I think I'm going to full fade this game, Nades, and no Reds for me against Manaea. And then I don't pick on bullpen games. I don't like doing bullpen games. I don't like this park. I do like the top of that Mets lineup, but I'm gonna you gotta cross them off. You got 12 tonight or 24 teams really. So this is 2 that I'll be marking off my list.
Yeah, no, excellent. I don't like bullpen games much either, but this Mets team is just can score runs in bunches here. I would focus on the top 4 or 5 guys, right? Martinez, Alonso, Vientos, Nemo, Lindor. Those would be the guys I'd be interested in. More of a mini stack personally. I just don't like full stacking against a bullpen game. I'm with you there. Next game on the slate, not a park that we like, but what we do like is lefties. Kyle Schwarber here, certified step-up after breaking the slate, costing me a ton of money. That was a very, very hurtful pivot the other night, going down from Schwarber to complete my 5-3. Instead, I said, nah, get rid of the 5-3. I already got 2 Phillies. Let me get a one-off Ozuna chalk. He put 5 on my lineup, and I left about 58 points on the table there with that pivot. Still shipped just about everything. Would have been a very, very nice night, but nonetheless here, let's go back to the well with these Phillies, these lefties in particular against Edward Cabrera. I don't care about the ballpark. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, those guys don't care about the ballpark. Cabrera gets hit very hard by lefties. He has terrible control against lefties. Where he does do good is against righties, so it would be the lefties only. More of a mini stack for me on these Phillies, but I think Schwarber's an elite play. I think Harper's an elite play. I like Stott. I like Marsh. Any other lefties that do get in that lineup, I think, are interested. I'm not worried about the ballpark overall. There's pretty bad hitting conditions across the entire slate that I think those guys have enough power to get it out of here. But talk to me. Any interest in the Phillies? And then I don't think any Marlins interest for you against Zach Wheeler.
Nate, it's, you're sitting at home, you're doing whatever you're doing, and then you get an alert on your phone, and it's like from Underdog, and it's like Kyle Schwarber ×3. And you're like, dang, man, like I didn't have him at all. Now he just hits. You just know you're toast, like when you get that and you don't have the guy. But hey, it's a great feeling if you had Schwarber and you get that alert. But in any event, he was on fire. Then he followed that up with another dong the next day. So, yeah, I think he's squarely in play. Minis for me only. Maybe even just a one-off in Kyle. He looks nice. And then I really like Zach Wheeler tonight against this Marlins team who doesn't pack much of a punch. And like I said earlier, we're going to get, 6+ innings out of Wheeler, close to 100 pitches just to see how he's going. But, yeah, I like Wheeler a ton tonight.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. Jumping to the next game, the Braves. We're going back to Atlanta, Truist Park, Max Fried on the hill. Blue Jays coming to town, Kevin Gausman on the hill. You want lefties against Kevin Gausman here. Michael Harris, I think, is a solid play here. Matt Olson's a good play. Outside of that, I don't want to get to these Braves. I'm a little bit underweight on this this game in general. But the Braves do hit fly balls. Gausman does give up fly balls here. The Braves are in a stretch coming down the wire here. Any Brave stacks for you? It's minis only for me, but talk to the people. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, I think when we think of Kevin Gausman, we think of like the 2022, 2023 Gausman striking out 30% of batters. Now we're down to 21, 22%. And when Tambo and those Canadians come down south to the ATL, man, try to pick up my Braves, we're going to beat them up. And so give me these Braves to beat up all of the Tambos, all the Canadians up there. Don't come down here to Atlanta expect to get a W. I love the Braves team. Top 3 stack for me tonight. I won't be playing any Blue Jays bats either. I have some respect for Fried. Not really a strikeout guy, but more of a ground ball guy, and I think he can maneuver his way through Vlad and company. But I think the Braves roll tonight, and I think they don't come in highly owned. You're more the ownership guy than me, but I think they come in low owned just because of the name Kevin Gausman alone.
Yeah, I think it's more their prices too. You want the lefties against Gausman. He's got over a 40% fly ball rate over the last month, the lefties. So Michael Harris, if Kelenick's in there, I like him a lot. Matt Olson, I think, is an elite one-off on the slate at just $5K. That's a pretty cheap price point. You can play Marcell Ozuna, even though he kicked me in the nuts the other night. He's still a great play, one of the best hitters in baseball, as you can see there on the stone based on his numbers. Tons of power. But, yeah, it's more mini stacks for me and the Braves. You just mainly want lefties against Kevin Gausman. So Braves should have 2, maybe 3 lefties in there, and I like them all for sure. Next game on the slate, this takes me to my favorite offense on the board. It's not the Anaheim Angels here who've been hitting the cover off the baseball against that Arizona squad out there in Anaheim, not LA, Anaheim. But now they come to Texas. They're facing a guy I've never heard of. And then on the other side, Texas is facing a guy making his major league debut, an extreme fly ball pitcher in the minors. I expect that to only increase when he makes his debut in the big leagues here. Wyatt Langford is walking around with a flamethrower burning anybody in his way. Talk to me. Texas Rangers, my favorite stack of the night. Absolutely love this squad. They're affordable. You can stack them up. They got cheap guys at the back half. It does hurt with the injury of Corey Seager, but the only thing that does is make this lineup more affordable to stack up. Absolutely love this. Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, Josh Him, Wyatt Langford, Wyatt Dong, whatever you want to call them. Absolutely love this offense. Talk to the people.
What happens in September when you have 2 teams that are going to be getting their golf clubs ready in October? Well, you get 2 pitchers that no one's ever heard of making their major league debut. I don't like this ballpark. I don't have statistics in front of me to back it up, but just being there, I just don't think the ball carries very well. But, man, these pitchers, never heard of them. So we should expect the offenses to be rocking and rolling. I know they're the LA Angels. I mean, I guess the LA of Anaheim, but they've been swinging the bat like the LA Dodgers. They beat up the Dodgers. Now they go on the road. They scuffled last night, but that was against Bradford. Now they get some guy making his debut. I'm with you. I think the Angels are in play as a contrarian stack. Same thing with the Rangers. Yeah, Corey Seager obviously hurts, but when you look at that, full stack on the Rangers side, you got a lot of dudes that are all under 5K. You can fit them in nicely, get some good bats or good pitchers as well. I think this game stack as a whole is squarely in play. I have interest in both of these lineups, minis and fulls.
I will say this Angels cat did have good strikeout stuff in the minors. He skipped AAA. So, I mean, you're talking low minors to jump into the major leagues. He's still almost a 50% fly ball rate. I mean, that is insane. Almost a 50% fly ball rate is his metrics from what I'm seeing here. And then jumping over to this this Texas squad, majority of this lineup are all fly ball hitters. Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Semien, Josh Young, Wyatt Langford's over a 40% fly ball rate. I absolutely love this spot. I think Texas is going to be low owned. You already alluded to it. You can fit them with the top tier pitching, which I want to do. I love this squad. Absolutely love them. And then you make a good point. These Angels, Logan O'Hopp's been murdering the baseball. Taylor Ward's been murdering the baseball. They're both very affordable at 4K, 4,300. I think this is an interesting game. I don't mind playing teams and stacks here. Texas has gone off for 10, 12 runs multiple times at their home park here. They're not scared to score runs at home here. Either are opposing teams. I do like this spot quite a bit. Angels, I didn't give them quite a look early because there's so many teams, but you make up a good point. They were hitting the ball good right now. This Gerson Garabito character, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he sounds like a contrarian thing that at a supermarket, right? The shelf that the aisle nobody goes down to. You'd find a nice little jar of whatever you want to call it, a little substance in there. Garabito. I don't know about you, but that's what that sounds like. But
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I even talked about either right there, but let's jump to the next game here. Brandon Framber Valdez. I think we got 12 games. Can't play them all. This is one that I'm not going to play. The D-backs are hot right now, but I'm not going to pick on a very quality pitcher. Brandon Fott's been having a hell of a season. Not going to pick on him either. So for me, no game for bats in terms of the Astros and the D-backs, but maybe you got something here that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, man. Cy Valdez has just been absolutely unhittable. And, he's not really a career-wise a big strikeout guy, but this year, especially over the last, 5 or 6, 7 starts, he's just been, dialing that in. He's all the way up to 27% strikeout percentage at home. These Diamondbacks bats on the road, not very powerful. They don't strike out a ton, but they don't hit for much power either. So no Diamondbacks bats. And then I'm with you. Pfott is respectable enough that I won't be playing him. Interested to see Tucker. Someone said, they're not activating Tucker to ride the pine, and I would tend to agree. But, man, if he comes back, I mean, he's got to be cheap. I didn't see his price, but I would imagine he's going to be cheap because he hadn't played in forever. I wouldn't mind maybe a Kyle Tucker one-off. Welcome back to the show. 5,300, a little bit more than I would want to spend, but I wouldn't hate it. Him or Jordan one-off would be the only thing that I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I mean, Jordan at 6,100, Kyle Tucker at 5,300. I'd much rather play some of those Texas bats or other guys that are cheaper there. But I mean, nonetheless, not terrible. But not a game I'm getting to for offense. Jumping to the next game, Zebby Matthews got absolutely murdered last start. Now comes into Kauffman Stadium to face the Royals, who hit for a ton of power against right-handed pitching. I think the Royals are an interesting stack here tonight. I haven't been on the Royals much lately over the last month or so. I think it's an interesting spot to play the Royals here tonight. They're in a decent matchup. Bobby Slams, Bobby Witt. I will say MJ Melendez, I think I like a lot at 3,500. He's a nice value here against Zebby Matthews. But Royals, I think, are an interesting play. One of my teams that I could stack up. I don't know if I get to them in one of my main teams, but it is a good spot here, I think, against Zebby Matthews. And then no Twins interest against Cole Reagans. I respect him enough. He's been great at home. I think he's a very, very contrarian option in terms of pitching on the slate. Going to be much lower than the three guys above him. Even Valdez, I think he's an interesting option. Cole Reagans at that. So no Twins interest for me.
I may come up to Wisconsin tonight, Nate, to check on you because I looked at your slate plan, man. You have any Royals in there? Like, what's going on with you? I want to make sure you're okay. We got Clay Matthews Jr. on the bump tonight for the Twins, and he got beat up last time. And Bobby Slams, as you like to call him, I see your boy MJ Melendez in there. This Royals team is going to rock and roll. They're up there with the Braves for me. I think they get to Matthews. I think this is a ground and pound type night for the Royals, and they get after your former Green Bay Packer legend Clay Matthews Jr. tonight in Coors Field. 2.0. It's going to be a merry-go-round up there, Nades.
I will say you want the lefties mainly against Zebby Matthews, Clay Matthews, who's can't tackle running backs anymore when he's sitting at home on the couch watching the games. But maybe his twin brother here, Zebby, can throw some beach balls across the plate to these lefties, which he does struggle against. So I would say Massey, Melendez, and I always got to mention Kyle Isbell. The dude just doesn't strike out. Nobody plays him. He's 2,400. And then Tommy Pham. I don't know if you've seen what Tommy Pham's been doing as of late, but this dude is rejuvenated and just murdering the baseball over the wall there. He's
Tommy Slams.
Projected bat leadoff tonight at 3,700. You know he's going to get pitches to hit with Bobby Jams behind him. So, I do. It doesn't take much to talk me into some Royals here at Ham. And with old Ham, Porn Stash Ham there on a Friday night, jumping on some Royals train. Maybe I'll ride the Royals as well tonight. But
this is a huge series too. These teams are basically tied in the wild card. They're both the last two teams in. Both have a 5-game lead over the next team. Got the Yankees in front of them. So huge series. The one thing I would say is that this Twins pin is pretty dialed in. So if it's a close game, you're going to see the better. They're better arms and they're rested. So that does scare me. So hopefully they can get to Zebby early, get like an 8 on the first 4 innings, like 8-0 or something. They don't bring in their best guys. But, yeah, I really like these Royals tonight.
I will say on FanDuel, look at these prices on FanDuel. I mean, they're all under $3K outside of Bobby Witt, right? On FanDuel, if anybody does play in that site, which I know does, I don't personally play over there. But, they're very cheap there. So, yeah. Royals, pretty solid spot. I just don't like targeting teams with a good bullpen, but Zebby, pretty bad, especially against lefties. So I do think they're an interesting play. Jumping from that game to this next game, I have no interest in this game. Fetty Wap on the hill, I think, is going to mow some of these Mariners down, get enough strikeouts to pay off that price point. Bryce Miller, we didn't talk on him. Maybe some Cardinals interest for you, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, who I actually like Lars Nootbaar quite a bit as a value one-off on the slate. But not a game I'm getting to for stacking offenses. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think so. Miller's not terrible, I don't think. This Cardinals team is just nothing sexy about them. I don't like the ballpark. This is another cross-off game, 4-3 type thing, 3-2. Neither one of these teams are going to be in the winner. You can write that down and take a picture of it. They won't be in the winner's circle tonight.
All right, let's go. Next game on the slate here. We're heading into the Coliseum, Oakland and the Tigers. Skubal, Mitch Spence. I think you can pair both these pitchers. But if I were to pick a spot, I don't know if the Royals are my new beloved freaking Oakland Athletics. But, look at the numbers for Brent Rooker. Hit a bomb last night. Nobody's going to play these at Oakland. I'm not going to full stack this squad, but this Oakland team has some certified lefty mashers in there. Daz Cameron, Shea Langeliers, Brent Rooker. All three of those guys absolutely mash left-handed pitching. Tyler Nevin's a straight splits guy. Don't love him a ton, but he's got great numbers, especially at home against left-handed pitching. He's just 2.8K. And then Alvarez, limited sample, but again, got some power here. I think a little Oakland mini stacks might be an interesting play against Chalk Skubal and company. Not going to full 5-man them, but if you're looking to get different, especially spending $5,600 for Brent Rooker, I think is an interesting route on this slate. No Tigers for me, but any interest here?
Yeah, you look at Brent Rooker's numbers against lefties at home, and they bet damn near jump off the page. Elite one-off tonight is Rooker. And then I don't think the Tigers are the worst contrarian late night stack. It would be minis, only that top 3 with Green leading the way. So don't mind a Green one-off. But, yeah, not full stack in either one of these teams. Green, Meadows. Man, Meadows just he took the wind out of the sails and the people in San Diego. I don't know if you saw that or not, but hit that granny in the last inning, in the 9th inning last night. But anyway, don't mind a mini Detroit, and then it would be a Brent Rooker only one-off for me.
Yeah, I think Trey Sweeney's an interesting value play too in the Tigers. He hit a bomb the other night. He's 2.4K. at shortstop if you're looking for a punt. He doesn't strike out a lot. He does have some power here. Put the ball in play, so I don't mind a Trey Sweeney there either. 2 games left to talk about. This next game is a very good game, in my opinion. One of my favorite top offenses on the slate are the San Diego Padres. We talk about it all the time in the Discord. Are these Padres ever on the winner? Feels like never. But tonight, against Mason Black and company, I think the Padres are in an elite spot. One of the best hitting conditions, if not the best hitting conditions on the entire slate, which, hey, how much? Usually that's what we see, right? Heart of the summer. We fade the West Coast games. When it feels like fall and it's 60 degrees and windy here in Wisconsin right now, across the Midwest, it's really chilly overall. We tend to go back out west. I'm going back out west here. I love San Diego Padres here tonight. They're you talk about teams that are playing for something. These Padres are playing for something coming down the stretch here. They got Tatis back in there. Profar, Cronenworth hit a bomb Cronenworth, one of those hit a bomb last night. Jackson Merrill, certified stepper there. NL favorite for the MVP, although my boy Jackson Churio has something to say for that. Still think it's Merrill's race to lose there in terms of MVP. Mason McCoy as another value shortstop. Absolutely love San Diego here tonight. The only thing holding me back some is the ballpark, but not that. It's more just my hatred towards this team at never finding the winner in terms of DFS.
I need to look. I don't know if I've ever seen that 1% strikeout rate at home versus righties this year. If that's accurate, that's pretty darn impressive for Larraz. I know he doesn't strike out a ton anyway, but man, that guy just puts the ball in play. And I'm gonna stick with that trend, Nades. I'm gonna say the Padres aren't on the winner again tonight. They just don't hit the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball, and they don't have it outside of my guy Jackson, who is a baller, aka a certified step-up, as they say. But no Padres for me tonight, not stacking them, and then no Giants for me. We like Michael King tonight.
All right, let's do a little friendly wager. We haven't had a wager in a minute here. You give me, I'll take the Padres to outscore. Give me a team. Give me a team that you like. Okay, how about the Braves? You love the Braves, right? You were stroking it to the Braves. I'll say the Padres hit more home runs and score more runs overall than the Braves tonight.
Well, let's just pick one. You want more home runs or you want more runs?
I'll say more runs, but I think they hit more home runs as well.
Okay.
More runs. Let's go more runs, but there. Let's go. I got the Padres.
I got the Braves. You got the Padres. What's for what? We'll go for a cool 25 spot.
Yeah. Cool 25 spot. If they hit both, listen. Okay. So if the Braves hit more home runs and score more runs, it's 50. Same thing, vice versa. What do you say? A little friendly wager for the people. We come back on Monday and we talk about it.
Yeah. What? Sorry. What did you say?
So whoever scores more runs is 25. If the other team hits more home runs as well, it's 50. It doubles. So more runs and more home runs.
You got 25 on each.
Yeah, 25 on each. There we go.
All right, book it.
All right, perfect.
Give me the people. Who do the people think in the chat? Who's going to win that? They like
the Braves. Padres or Braves? Vice versa. More home runs, more runs in general, just overall. Who do you got, Braves or Padres here? I see my guy Mario Banks. Braves finding it hard to score more. Yeah, let him know, Mario. Let me throw you up on the screen there. Let Mr.
Come on, Mario.
Yeah,
Mario. That's not Mario Banks. Come on,
Mario says Hamwich looks like Luigi. He and his Luigi here tonight. Get the frick out of here, he says, Mario. Let's go. All right. On to the last game of the slate. It's Friday night. It's the Friday Night Doyers here. They are facing a respectable pitcher of years past, the good name Matthew Boyd, who always has strikeout ability. Man, the Dodgers been very, very hurtful. This seems like a good spot to bounce back after they absolutely kicked everyone where the sun don't shine all week long. Talk to me. Are you going back to them after they just got scuffled in Anaheim in good hitting weather and all of those? They were mega chalk. I mean, Ohtani was 7K the night of the mega, and he was, 45, almost 50% owned at $7,000 at a batter. Didn't make it past, the third inning or the fourth inning because he got yanked out of there. Dodgers, they're going to be chalky here tonight again, facing Matthew Boyd. The Guardians bullpen, as well, is one of the best bullpens in baseball. I'm underweight on these Dodgers. You didn't find them in the slate plan. I'm not playing any of these Dodgers. You can always play an Ohtani one-off if you want. You can always play a Freeman, a Betts. But as a stack, I'm not going to these Dodgers here. The back half of that lineup, the cheap guys, Rojas, Chris Taylor, Kiki Hernandez are likely to get pinch hit for. I will say my favorite Dodger is going to be Tommy Edman, the dual position eligible. He's hitting well right now. Hits lefties pretty well as well. But I'm not going to stack this Dodgers team tonight. Throw it over to you. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm torn. This is when you play the Dodgers when no one's on them. But man, they're tough to play. We respect Matthew Boyd a little bit. I think he did not great, but fine against the Yankees, right? In a similarly tough matchup. You said it. You said it best. If Boyd gets to 6 innings, that means he's doing well, and they're not going to have a good night. If he gets yanked after 4, they got one of the better bullpens that you'll see, so it's going to be tough. Similar to the Twins, they better get 8 early because if it's a close game and they got to bring in their horses, it's going to be lights out. I'm going to be under on both of these offenses. Just I don't know. I don't like either offense. It's just so tough to stack those Dodgers too. I mean, you got to cherry pick, then you got to pick the right, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. And to me, it's just not worth it. I'd rather get a better stack in my opinion, but that's my take on the Dodgers.
Yeah, Warren, that's a take that I think some people have. I mean, it's not like the Dodgers are not getting ownership. I mean, they're going to be one of the chalkier offenses in relative to the slate. I mean, offense is going to spread out a ton, but yeah, I mean, people are getting ownership for the Dodgers. So it's a spot that I'm underweight. If I had to pick a side in this game, it would be Cleveland. In my opinion here, I just don't like this team either because Cleveland just don't hit home runs, and I want home runs. So overall, it's going to be an early night for bats for me for the most part. I'm not going to get to too much in this game at all.
That's true. The worst manager in the bigs, Dave Roberts, like you said, he pulls those guys at the flip of a switch, and so I think it's going to be. I mean, that's a playoff baseball game out there with 2 really good teams. So no, thank you there. I think it's going to be played like an October game. So
yeah, I mean, this game's got a 3-1 type feel to me. I mean, because I think Matthew Boyd is a quality enough pitcher. He knows enough to not throw a meatball across the plate to Mookie, to Ohtani, even though especially Mookie, right? A lefty masher. I mean, he's already lefty against Freeman and Ohtani. I mean, he's smart enough. He's a veteran. He's smart enough not to give these guys and make them try and chase. And then you get to that bullpen, even if Matthew Boyd only goes 4 and gives up 3, you get to that bullpen, they're going to, I mean, yeah, they got to face 3 hitters, but it's one of the best bullpens in baseball, and they're going to just play splits advantage left and right from that bullpen. Like I said, I don't love this game a ton. Could bite me in the ass. I think both these teams do get ownership. I think could pop based on the total you see, right? Over 4 implied run total for Cleveland, over 5 implied run total, one of the higher totals on the slate. It's just, I don't love it. So I'm going to be under on this game for sure.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to say hello to my guy, Taco Todd, always in the Discord. Appreciate you tuning in, Taco Todd. Got a picture of you, I think, instead of a taco. You always make me hungry. It's not Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Friday, and Taco Todd is in the house.
Well, I just threw this up on the screen there. Surprise, surprise, right? Shohei Ohtani, our number 1 ranked hitter. But, Ham, it's time for the coveted. I'm going down to Illinois, so I'll be able to throw in some of these parlays after the show. Once I cross those state lines, I get a little carried away sometimes in those home run parlays. But, hey, turning $5, $10 into 5, 6 figures seems like a fun lottery ticket to me. Throw it over to you. Give the people your home run call or calls or whatever you want to do Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going to give the people one. I've been so bad. I've been wanting to give a ticket away. If I don't hit a home run call, Nate, we're going to do a 121 giveaway in the DK single entry for Monday. So everybody that's in here today, all 60 of you, make sure you tune in on Monday. We're going to be giving a ticket away if, and this is only if, Nades' boy, Bobby Jams, Bobby Slams, Bobby Witt's my home run call today. He doesn't go yard. We're going to be giving a ticket away on Monday to all the fine folks in here on this Friday.
All right. Put that in the chat. We remember the people in here. I know football is going on. I know football started last night. Everybody says F off, baseball, 12 games on a Friday with NFL. I'm not touching that. But, Ham, there's good contest over here. And more importantly, I like the satellites for Sunday. in terms of these contests. I'm going to my home run call, my favorite stack of the night, certified stepper in the 2 spot, 4K, Wyatt Langford. He's going deep here tonight. Love Texas. Love this boy. He's 4K. He's very affordable. So for him, he's got Bobby Slams. Good pick. And I got Wyatt Langford. If neither of those guys hit a home run, Ham is throwing a 121 for the people here, the real grinders, the 60 you sticking around on a Friday here with football going on. We know your usernames. Taco Todd, I love this comment right here. What do you say about that? Little pink tacos, all you can eat. Give me them all right there. So all fun and games. That's gonna do it for this edition of the Witching Hour Show here, brought to you by SHIPIT Nation. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button a ton. Helps us out a ton. And if you haven't seen our success yet, NFL early bird is still going on. Last call, last chance overall, that early bird pricing there. But for Hamwich, I'm Nades. I'm going to run the intro back, bop out of here in terms of our success from last night. We'll catch you guys next week. Good luck tonight. Hope to see those Ship Nation logos at the top. For Ham, I'm Nades. Let's ship it.
Obviously, I'm a part of the SHIPIT Nation community. I enjoy the Discord. I get a lot of information out of the Discord, and then I use the site, so all the slate plans, slate info, all that, the DVP stuff. I would say join a site because they do help and you get all the information and it saves you so much time.